So I feel like American society, Western society, is being sucked into a giant cult. We don't typically think of cults as a big, like Western society. We tend to think of them as like a small group of people. They're cults. But I kind of feel like Western society is becoming a cult, led largely by some very far left people in the Democratic Party in the United States. I actually think that the epicenter for the creation of this cult is happening in the United States, and it's happening in the left wing of the Democratic Party in the United States. Now, before I get into why I think this, I want to give a little bit of background and my understanding of how cults work. Cults and just generally high control religious groups. So, for those of you who don't know, I was raised as one of Jehovah's Witnesses. I left the religion about 20 years ago, actually. It was about 20 years ago, the last time I walked out of a Kingdom Hall, the place where Jehovah's Witnesses meet. And if you've never been a Jehovah's Witness, what I'm about to tell you is probably going to sound kind of weird. If you have been a Jehovah's Witness, you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about here. When you are a witness, which is what Jehovah's Witnesses call themselves, they call themselves witnesses. When you're a witness, when you're in the truth, you expect every year to get at least a few pieces of something called new light. Yes, I'm going to be doing the finger quotes sometimes in this video. You expect to get new light. And new light is basically a new understanding of something. It could mean that your interpretation of a Bible prophecy will change. Or it could mean that something that used to be okay for you to do is going to become a sin. Or something that used to be a sin is going to become okay. So some doctrinal change within your religion. I know that probably sounds kind of strange if you're not a Jehovah's Witness and you've never been one. But yeah, that's a normal part of being a Jehovah's Witness, a doctrinal change within your religion. One of the most notorious pieces of new light, recurring new light for Jehovah's Witnesses, is the interpretation, the definition of the word generation. Every 5 to 10 years, the definition of the word generation changes. And it's not like happens actually just with normal English. You know, occasionally new meanings of words will get added to the dictionary. You don't necessarily lose the old meaning, but a new meaning, a new slang or whatever will be added to a word in the dictionary. Well, that's not how it happens for Jehovah's Witnesses. When there is a new meaning of the word generation, you will necessarily lose the old meaning. Generation means something new, and it no longer means what it used to mean. And sometimes it'll double back. It'll change meaning, and then a few years later, it'll change back to what it used to be. And the meaning switches. It can only mean one thing. It's like a prophetic thing for Jehovah's Witnesses that I'm not going to get into. It tells you when Armageddon is going to come. The meaning of that word generation. So it changes every few years. And if you are one of Jehovah's Witnesses and you are not willing to change the meaning of generation, you're not willing to accept the new meaning, or you're not willing to change rules. You know, when they say, hey, this thing that used to be a sin is now okay, if you say, no, I don't agree, I think it's still a sin. Or something that used to be okay is now a sin, no, this is still a sin. You can be kicked out of the religion. You can be disfellowshipped. And when you're disfellowshipped for this, for refusing to change with the new light of Jehovah's Witnesses, you are declared an apostate. You can be disfellowshipped for a lot of different things, or excommunicated. You can be disfellowshipped for premarital sex or something like that. But when you are disfellowshipped for refusing to go along with the new light, for refusing to change your understanding, you will be declared an apostate. When I left Jehovah's Witnesses, I was kind of glad to get rid of this thing, to no longer have it where someone tells me what I have to believe, where someone tells me how I have to understand reality. So it is with some displeasure that I have seen this new thing happen where now our official understanding of reality is changing. Yes, now I'm having to use finger quotes for the way we use language outside of Jehovah's Witnesses. For, like, can men get pregnant? You've seen these Senate confirmation hearings for various people recently who have been asked, can you define a woman, and can men get pregnant and stuff like that? And you're not getting obviously truthful answers. You're not even getting nuanced answers. You're not hearing people say, well, traditionally I would say men can't get pregnant. If you're talking about males, biological males, no biological males can't get pregnant, that kind of thing. No, you're just getting, yes, men can get pregnant. And if you don't think so, then you're a phobe, which is like the worst thing you can be now. Phobe and racist are racist and phobe. It reminds me of that apostate. Now, instead of worrying about being classified as an apostate, the worst thing you can be if you are one of Jehovah's Witnesses, or if you used to be one of Jehovah's Witnesses, now you have to worry about being classified as a phobe. It is very much cult-like. And people are afraid to go against it, which is why, some of these people who are afraid to say what a woman is and whether men can get pregnant and this kind of stuff, they're not the young, pink-haired gender studies students in college. They're, wanting to be on the Supreme Court. They're older than me in some cases. And now they're suddenly afraid to say, how we've understood the world and how the world obviously is true. There are even changes happening in like biology textbooks. It's not because our understanding of biology has actually changed. And before you come in and say, no, our understanding of biology has changed. No, it hasn't. It hasn't. Our understanding of biology is the same. Male and female is a thing. The sex binary is a thing. Now, not all animals have that, it's true, but it's pretty widespread. Male and female is pretty widespread, and traditionally we have understood man and woman to be bound to male and female. Now, that doesn't mean, I want to give a little caveat here. That doesn't mean that we are unwilling to accept people who aren't comfortable in their own skin and want to try to do things to make themselves feel better. Being understanding of people and saying, hey, be you, live your life the way you feel the most genuine, that is different than saying, okay, we now have to change our understanding of basic biology. And yes, that is what we've done. And no rare chromosomal anomalies and people who have various disorders that change the way they react to hormones and these sorts of things. The examples given to try to say that male and female isn't really a thing, that you're actually assigned your gender at birth, those rare conditions do not mean that male and female isn't a thing, just like thalidomide babies do not mean that humans are not a species with 2 arms and 2 legs. We do not naturally have flippers, even though some babies have unfortunately been born with flippers. That can happen because of genetic abnormalities. It can happen because they've been given, their moms have been given thalidomide before they were born. It doesn't mean that that is a natural state of humans. Rare chromosomal disorders do not mean that humans don't actually come in male and female. So the way this is being handled in society, and the way so many people, out of fear of being rejected by society, and fear of being punished, and fear of being labeled a phobe, just looks so much like what I saw when I was in a cult. And that's a problem. Until next time.